Hey everyone, this is Jono from Veracity with another video in my video series. This one on getting all data associated with a course, and maybe that won't make sense right out of the gate here, but when we get into the report and the dashboard, that'll make a little bit more sense. Also, we're saying here with a course, but it could also be an app or a simulation or an assessment, getting all data associated with a course or an app or something else. Caveat, this approach that we're going to show today, in order for this to work, you have to use parent context activities. There are other ways that this could work. At Veracity, we make heavy use of the parent context activities for this type of thing. And I think we'll spend a little time in the next video actually talking about how you would structure this for a course or an app or something like that. I'll put a few other links in the description of this video as well, just to talk a little bit about parents. I've already done a few videos that touch on this subject, and I'll follow up with this video on another one. Okay, so let's go into a demonstration. I think it'll make more sense when I am showing this for real. So I'm going to go into this LRS here. This is a learner portal demo that I had set up a ways back. And then I'm going to go into the statement viewer. Again, lots of videos already on these topics on our channel, so check them out if you don't know what the statement viewer is or the analytics platform. But you can see here we've got, our actors, verb, and object, our people doing something. I'm going to scroll down a bit and get into some of the a little bit older data that was automatically generated here. Actually, I think that might have been a good one here. Okay, good. So, all right, let's say we are interested in our particular course, and that course has this R programming lesson in it. And I wanted to see all the activity in a report for that course. Well, if I come down to the object and I say, hey, show me everything with R programming, well, I'm getting everything that happened in this R programming course. And maybe I just want, I don't know, when people completed. So I could further filter by completed. So these are all completions of the R programming. It's actually a lesson. If I open up any of these data points, you'll see that it's a type lesson. So, this thing is like a sub-item of the course. And if I go into context, you can see here under parent, this is part of this data science course. I'm going to actually copy this because we're going to make use of it in a second, this ID for the data science course. So this isn't exactly what I wanted. What I wanted in my report is I wanted to look at all the data for a course. For example, all the completions for a course, regardless of what lesson they were in. I want to see everything. So how do we do that? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a custom field. I'm going to add context activities, parent, and then I'm going to, ID, then ID. Oop, did I add ID? ID. Add that field. Okay, so for those of you who know xAPI well, you're going to say, well, how? Because this is actually an array. There could be multiple of these, but bear with me, I'll explain how this works in the statement viewer. Okay, so I've added that field. So if we kind of zoom back out, make a little better use of our space here. And actually, let me get rid of a few other things. I'm going to get rid of stored, and I'm going to get rid of those icons as well, just to make some more room. There you go. So you see we have this blank field here on the end. And actually, let me clear a few other things out. Let me clear all these out. So you'll see this is blank, that field that I ended. The reason it is, or that I added, the reason this is blank is because in the data model behind this, the parent context activities is array. There can be multiple of them. So what does it mean to grab the ID of which one? The first one, the second one, the 100th one? That's why we're not showing anything here. However, we leave this here because you're able to filter by it. So even though nothing is rendering here, you can still indeed use this. So for example, I just copied that value that was the parent context activity and paste it in here. Now what we're seeing is everything that is part of that data science course. So you see we have exploratory data analysis and R programming and regression models and statistical inference and so on. So what I can do is, just like I did before, filtered by completed. And now what we're looking at is basically all the completions of lessons or the course, or really anything that has the course as a parent. I think in this data model, it's mostly lessons. So yeah, that's a great way to be able to not just query on a single object, not just our programming, for example, but these other things as well, but do it within the context of a course. So show me all the completions in a course. Let's go over to the analytics package and look how this works over there. It's pretty similar. We go into custom dashboards, and I think do I have one in here? Query by parent. Great. And the data is old in this, so I'm going to switch it to old all time. And you see here I have this nifty graph of, it just looks like a bunch of lessons. Well, let me show you how this actually works. To do that, I'm just going to add a new one. Let me just drag this down out of the way a little bit. Add a widget. We're going to add a bar chart. Let's call this completions. Oh, new keyboard. Completions of lessons. And then in the subtitle, in the data science course. So the first thing we want to do is we don't want to look at actors. We actually want to look at number of completions of lessons. So we want to actually look at that object ID. We want to look at the I did this, this part of a statement, people who are completing the lesson. So now this is all lessons in the system, or at least, the top 10, or if I go up, more than that. But, that's not really useful. I just want to look at things in the data science course. So let's do matching records where, and we'll do something very similar to what we just did in the statement viewer, where the context activities, parent, ID is equal to, and I should still have that in my clipboard, hopefully. There we go. All right. So now what we're looking at is basically, still this is not completions, but it's all of the lessons that are part of this JHU data science course. How many interactions do we have with it? So let's add another filter, and we'll say where the verb .id is the completed verb. All right, now we are looking at the number of completions of all lessons in the data science course. So let me add that, and you'll see it'll look very similar to the one I already had here. I can drag it open a bit, and you'll see indeed it is very similar data. So there you go. Another good way to use the parent context activity for querying and showing the child objects. You can make use of this in a lot of different ways, but that is the basics. As I did mention before, this does rely on a certain structure to your data. So in the next video, next week, we'll go a little bit into how the data was structured for this particular example, and really just some best practices that we make use of at Veracity. All right, I think we'll call it there today. If you like this video, click the thumbs up and or subscribe. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.